Hello everyone, welcome to Earth Archives. Hey, have you ever thought about how chocolate is actually connected to love, war, religion, and even politics? Don't believe it? Its history is much more complex than you might think, filled with all sorts of stories, legends, and fascinating cultural clashes. Today, let's talk about how this black gold, chocolate, which was once sacred in the eyes of the indigenous peoples of the Americas and beloved in European courts, has traveled through the centuries to become the sweet remedy we all know today, and how it has constantly been given different symbolic meanings at various points in history. Ancient Americas, the sacred origins of chocolate. The story of chocolate dates back thousands of years to the Americas, where it wasn't the sweet treat we enjoy today in our daily lives. In fact, chocolate was originally used as currency and religious offerings. That's right, the chocolate that delights you during your afternoon tea had a sacred and high-value status in ancient times. At that time, indigenous peoples of the Americas, especially the Maya and Aztecs, used something called cocoa beans for trade. These cocoa beans were highly valuable. One cocoa bean could buy a corn tamale, or even pay for flirtation fees at certain places. In fact, an excellent female turkey could be traded for 100 cocoa beans. Of course, these cocoa beans weren't just currency. They held much deeper cultural significance. In religious ceremonies, chocolate drinks were considered sacred items, and only priests and rulers could partake in these precious drinks. Ordinary people who wished to taste a chocolate drink had to undergo a special ritual. And in some places, chocolate was even offered as a sacrifice to the gods. Thus, chocolate was not only a material treasure, but also a symbol of divine communication. However, the sacredness of chocolate wasn't confined solely to religious rituals, but also extended into the lives of rulers. It is said that Montezuma II, the last emperor of the Aztec Empire, had an intense obsession with chocolate. He drank up to 50 cups of chocolate drink, flavored with chili and herbs, every day. These drinks were not only a daily necessity, but were also used to replenish his strength after wrestling matches. You can imagine that for Montezuma, chocolate was not just a delicious treat, but a magical drink that fortified his body. Of course, the ancient world of chocolate wasn't only about divinity and luxury. In Montezuma's palace, merchants didn't always provide pure cocoa beans. Some merchants were said to use cheaper items like avocados or mashed potatoes to substitute for cocoa beans. Such black market deals were not uncommon, and merchants were not always honest. As for whether the chocolate consumed by Montezuma was truly pure, it's likely that even people back then couldn't be certain. Europe's reverse conquest, the journey of chocolate into the courts. After the Spanish conquerors took over Mexico, chocolate, this ancient drink from the Americas, began to undergo its first fusion with European culture. In its original American version, chocolate was often bitter, flavored with spices and chili to enhance its taste. The Spanish settlers, however, were not content with this flavor and started experimenting by adding sugar and spices to adjust the drink, making it more appealing to European palates. This marked a significant transformation for chocolate. With the addition of sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, and other elements, chocolate became sweeter, smoother, and moved away from its original bitterness, drawing the attention of European nobles and the upper classes. One of the most crucial innovations during this period was the invention of a dedicated stirring stick. This not only made the chocolate smoother, but also allowed it to form a rich foam, which became a unique feature of the drink. As you savor the rich flavor of chocolate, imagine how the nobles of the time enjoyed this beverage in the courts, adding a touch of romance and luxury to the experience. By the late 16th century, chocolate gradually became a must-have drink in European courts, especially in Spain, where it was no longer just a drink, but a symbol of identity and status. At this point, a powerful force was pushing for the spread of chocolate: the Jesuit religious order. Jesuit missionaries actively promoted chocolate in Europe, wrapping it in an aura of mystique. They claimed that chocolate could cure ailments, enhance male vitality, and even act as a catalyst for love. This creative marketing helped chocolate quickly gain popularity among the nobility, becoming a drink that was both magical and romantic. Chocolate in France, Nobility, Romance, and Temptation. The story of chocolate in France is like an adventure full of romance and contradictions. The beginning of this history can be traced back to Maria Antoinette of Austria, who was the wife of Louis XIV. This renowned Queen of Europe was actually the first noblewoman to introduce chocolate to France. Her action immediately caught the attention of many nobles, and chocolate began to gain popularity among the upper classes. However, Louis XIV himself wasn't interested in chocolate and even dismissed it, believing that consuming it in public would negatively affect the morality of women. As a result, he issued a decree prohibiting people from drinking chocolate in public. Thus, the history of chocolate in France seemed to be shrouded in a mysterious veil. However, this situation dramatically changed during the reign of Louis XV. Madame de Pompadour, Louis XV's mistress, had a great love for chocolate. She indulged in it nearly every day and enjoyed mixing it with cream, believing that this combination would not only stimulate her desires, but also enhance her allure. Chocolate became an integral part of her daily life and gradually became a symbol of romance and luxury at the French court. Nobles at court began to imitate Madame de Pompadour's habit, and chocolate was no longer a taboo at social events. Instead, it symbolized charm and love. In the 18th century, the romantic status of chocolate was further reinforced. Nobles not only drank chocolate as part of their daily routine, but also began to develop various new chocolate creations. Chocolate pasta, chocolate parfaits, and chocolate mousse became luxurious treats for the upper class. Every bite of chocolate seemed to carry a romantic essence, and within the grandeur of the court, chocolate became a symbol of beauty and temptation. However, the influence of chocolate wasn't limited to the court. It also played a significant role in broader culture. Especially in French literature and the arts, chocolate held a unique position. One important figure was the Marquis de Sade, who used chocolate as a symbol of pain and desire. In his letters, chocolate often conveyed taboo, longing, and struggle. This gave chocolate not only a luxury status, but also a deeper cultural significance, becoming synonymous with desire and forbidden pleasures. Chocolate in England, from indifference to passion. The history of chocolate is quite different in each country, and when it comes to England, this story is full of twists and fun. At first, the English had little interest in chocolate. In fact, during the 17th century, English pirates often plundered cocoa beans from Spanish ships, not understanding the precious treasure they had in their hands. At the time, the English didn't pay much attention to chocolate. This mysterious drink from the New World seemed to be just an exotic oddity from a distant land, with little relevance to their everyday lives. However, over time, the English perception of chocolate began to change. By the 18th century, English society gradually embraced this drink from the Americas and brought it from royal courts into the lives of ordinary people. At this point, the image of chocolate also subtly shifted. It was no longer just an indulgence for the aristocracy, but began to appear on more family tables. People gradually realized that chocolate not only provided a delicious treat, but could also serve as a medium for socializing. Interestingly, British chocolate culture has its own distinctive character. Chocolate was not just confined to the upper class. It quickly spread to a wider range of people. This part of history brings to mind the story of the White Chocolate House, a venue dedicated to serving chocolate that rapidly became a gathering place for the English elite. Politicians and nobles would meet here, exchange ideas, discuss politics, and even engage in gambling and other social activities. Even more surprisingly, 3 British monarchs were regular members of this place. They relaxed, enjoyed chocolate, and in doing so, chocolate became not only a symbol of taste, but also an integral part of the social circle. As chocolate gradually became more popular in the 18th century, the English also began exploring different ways to enjoy it. They not only mixed chocolate with milk or sugar to create richer, sweeter drinks, but also developed a variety of chocolate-based foods. From chocolate beverages to chocolate desserts, these culinary creations represented the English love for chocolate and its integration into their daily lives. the popularization and innovation of modern chocolate. With the wave of the Industrial Revolution, the production of chocolate entered a whole new era. In the past, chocolate was an expensive luxury, only enjoyed by the nobility and the upper class. However, with technological advancements, chocolate began to become more accessible and transformed into a daily treat that ordinary people could enjoy. This change began with the invention of Dutch chemist Coenraad van Houten, who in 1828 developed a method for extracting cocoa powder. This breakthrough in technology made chocolate production simpler and turned it from a luxurious drink into a widely available commodity. Van Houten's invention laid the foundation for chocolate production, and as this technology advanced, the Fry family used the cocoa powder extraction method to successfully launch the first industrialized chocolate bar. The chocolate bar quickly generated a strong market response. Chocolate was no longer just a refined beverage for a select few. It started entering the lives of more people and became a treat that anyone could enjoy. As production technology progressed, the types and flavors of chocolate expanded. From the original hot chocolate drinks to today's chocolate bars, cookies, mousses, and other chocolate products, the emergence of these different chocolate items not only met the demands of various consumer groups, but also made chocolate a common food in people's everyday lives around the world. Chocolate gradually became more than just a food. It began to carry deeper cultural significance. Whether the romantic Valentine's Day chocolate gift box or the beautiful chocolate decorations on a birthday cake, chocolate has long surpassed its initial role as a mere food item. It became a way of expressing love, care, and well wishes. On every special occasion, chocolate became an important medium for conveying emotions. Giving a box of exquisite chocolate is not just a blessing to the recipient, but also an emotional expression, a symbolic bond that tightly connects the feelings between people. With the progress of time, chocolate has also become a globally popular snack. Its unique taste and rich variety have won the love of people from different cultures and regions. The diversity and widespread availability of chocolate make it a cross-cultural food that transcends borders. Whether in the bustling life of the city or the tranquil afternoons in the countryside, chocolate can always bring a sweet enjoyment to every moment. From its origins as a luxury drink to its status today as a global snack, the journey of chocolate witnesses the profound changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution and the endless love people have for its sweet taste. The deep emotional connection between chocolate and us. Looking back at the history of chocolate, it is not just a story about the evolution of food. It is more like a microcosm of human culture, emotional transmission, and societal changes. As a part of human civilization, chocolate has traveled a long journey from ancient America to modern society, witnessing and participating in the ups and downs of history. It is not merely a simple dessert. It carries profound meanings related to love and desire, religion and politics, culture and history. Next time you savor a piece of chocolate, take a moment to reflect on the long and complex history behind it. It is not just the sweetness on your tongue, but also a witness to civilization, a conveyor of emotions. It carries humanity's pursuit of a good life and the accumulation of thousands of years of culture. As you indulge in this delicious treat, let us also feel the deep flavor of history and culture, as if each bite is a tribute to the past. That's all for today's episode. If you're interested in the history of chocolate, feel free to leave a comment, and let's discuss it together. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode.